Ms. Lynn, I'm handing it over to you.
Right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Corley. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's session. So glad that you're here, excited about tonight's session. This will be a very interactive session. So the first thing we wanted you to do is in the chat, if you haven't already done so, please put your name, your major, and your classification. If you are staff, let us know that you are here. So for you, staff or faculty, put in the chat whether or not you are staff or faculty. And thank you so much for being here. Please continue to scan the QR code. I just put the link in the chat. If the QR code is not working for you, I pasted it again in case you just logged in. You are in for a treat. So tonight,
I'm sorry, Ms. Lynn, do you want them to put in their city that they're working in as
oh
well?
yes,
Maybe their
yes.
company as well?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Corley, for that reminder. So you're going to put your name, your classification, your major, in the company that you are, or the city, the company that you're interning in, the city and state, right?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. I see them coming in. Thank you, Kennedy. Thank you, Carrington. Thank you, Donovan. Awesome, awesome. So we will not belabor the time. Continue to put that information in the chat. I present to you now our presenter for this evening, Michelle Jones.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm excited for this week's session. As you know, due to the holiday, this is the last session for the weeks. We just had yesterday and today. Before we jump in, I just want to quickly put out the reminders we normally put out for the 15th billion time. Check in, check in, check in using that QR code so you can get credit for attending tonight's session. Please complete the post-session survey. It helps us to become better at what we're doing for you, but it also allows you to tell us what other things you need from us, what other types of topics that we can talk about, what other types of events or activities you'd like for us to host. If you haven't had a chance to complete your weekly reflection questionnaire that was sent Friday the 13th, wonderful, Friday the 13th. If you would complete that, it just is about what happened last week, the 9th through the 13th. What kind of week did you have? What kind of, help do you maybe need? What situations did you run into? As always, if you're finding value in this professional development 10-week program, please share it with your classmates and your friends at PV, and send out that information to them. If you don't have it anymore, please feel free to shoot me a quick email, myjones@pvamu.edu. pvamu.edu, and I will send that over to you. Post on your social media, send to your organizations, tag our page at Instagram page at PVAMU Career Services. Also, um, you know, take a moment and put a quick video up, click a quick reel about what you're learning or how it maybe has helped you in your internship or your job, or even just in getting prepared to get a job or get an internship. We also have added the additional workshops that were highly requested, and that was sent and is continuing to be sent to you via email so that you will see the dates and the topics that we're offering. Those Thursday sessions are extra sessions. So it's okay if you can't attend. You'll miss a treat, but it is okay if for whatever reason you cannot attend.
I see. You already.
All righty, we will get started. Time to level up. If you have not had a chance to meet with your coaches, let's level up. Your career coaches are a wealth of knowledge and added value to you in this journey that you're taking through academia into your professional life. So please make note of who your career coach is. If for some reason the major is not listed, I can be contacted, and I will drop my email in the chat towards the end. But you can go into Navigate 360 app, under resources and people to find your career coach and schedule an appointment. They are there all summer. So don't wait until you come back in the fall. You can have virtual sessions with them now, just like we're doing with these seminar sessions. So, managing the mission on and off the clock. Time is your reputation in motion, in the classroom or on the clock. How you move tells people if you're just busy or really about your business, right? You want to make sure that the time that you have, that you're using it wisely. Let's do a quick icebreaker. I'm going to give each of you $86,400. You can spend it any way you want. You cannot, however, put it in the bank, and any money you don't spend, you will lose. So I want you to take just a few minutes to think of 3 or 4 ways you would spend that money and how much you would spend and how you would spend for each way, and drop that in the chat for me. So $86,400. You have to spend it all. You cannot put it in the bank. You'll lose whatever you don't spend. I want you to think of 3 ways, 4 ways that you could spend it, and tell me how much you would spend each way. Okay, buying a car, travel. Good, good. Okay. Interesting. Those are some great choices. Great, great choices. Who can tell me the significance of the number 86,400? Come off of mute if you know that answer. Anybody? Well, 86,400 is the number of seconds in a day, right? Value add, you have 86,400 seconds in a day. What are you going to spend it on? Are you spending it on things that will give you a return on investment, or are you wasting it away? Your time is sacred. Guard it like your peace. Spend it with purpose and watch how doors start opening. And don't everybody speak at once. I know everybody's excited to get involved. Don't let last night beat y'all out for engagement. They were on point. They were hollering their answers. They were coming off of mute. They were going in the chat. Don't let them beat y'all. I'm gonna tell it if they beat y'all. It's a competition now. All right, a little bit about me. 84 graduate of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, another HBCU with a BA in English, non-teaching. I did have a way that I was going when I first went into English, and then I decided that wasn't the way I wanted to go, but I loved the major, and I didn't have a career coach. So I had to figure out my way and fall into something that I love, which is where I am now. I have over 40 years in several industries, as you see there, and have had many, 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 many different types of roles, but those are just a few. Anywhere from a military officer, retail management, working in higher ed, I've done it. Everybody's got 24 hours, but how you flex yours sets you apart, whether it's class or clock in. Stay booked and balanced. This is important. Stay booked and balanced. So by the end of this workshop, we want you to be able to identify your common time management challenges. We want you to know how to use practical strategies to prioritize your day, the tasks in your day, your week, your month. We want you to know what time management tools are available. And with those 3 items, we want you to now be able to effectively manage personal, career-related, and academic responsibilities. So I want to give you 2 key points. The first key point is focus on prioritization, not perfection. Time management is not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things at the right time. I think the saying that I used to hear all the time, captain of everything, master of none. That's not who you want to be. You want to make sure you're focusing on those things that are value add for you, your family, your career, in your life, whatever the case may be. And that may be sometimes just sitting in quiet, taking a moment, just relax, let go of everything, get rid of the noise. But make sure you are putting that time, that 86,400 seconds, into useful times in your life. The second key point is shift from managing time to maximizing moments. We often have been taught or told that in the traditional thought process of time management, squeeze as much into a day as possible in that 24-hour period as possible. Well, that doesn't always get you where you need to be, except with a whole lot of different things that you've tried to get done and haven't completed very much of anything. So I want you to change your thought process or your mindset to becoming a chief moment master. So as you're learning how to prioritize your day using the different tools and strategies for task management, now you're able to become a moment master. So the moments in your day are all going towards something useful. Again, that could be just a self-care day. It could be a mental health day, whatever that looks like, but you've given intentional thought to creating those moments that will add value to you in some way. All right, I've got a poll for you. If you would answer this for me, give you a couple minutes. Okay, I think we're about done. Let's go ahead and show the results. So we had quite a few that felt like overcoming distractions, overcommitting distractions and poor focus. Looks like the other one was procrastinating and perfectionism. Yeah. Poor energy management. And then quite a few felt like it was all of the above. Okay. Well, guess what? It is all of the above. So there are several others that you can see on the list that I have placed on the screen. But those that I used in the poll were some of the top ones that I think a lot of us suffer from, right? Fear of asking for help is another one. Having different time management tools, but not being consistent about any one of them, using different ones at different times. So you have you have your information in different locations, and it's hard then to know where to go to make sure you're on task, you're on point with whatever's supposed to be going on in your day. Anybody can think of anything else that they've experienced when it comes to having trouble doing their tasks? Okay, I told y'all, don't make me report y'all to the people that say you didn't participate.
Fear of failure.
Go ahead.
A fear of failure.
Mm-hmm. Fear of failure. That's another one. So you just don't do anything. Good, good. Thank you for that. I'm sorry, I didn't see who that was. Was that you, Brittany?
Yes, ma'am. I was gonna say, not planning for, if things go wrong, you have to block in time for if like you can't stay on schedule.
Good, good. Yep. Last minute things being added to your plate or emergencies that crop up. Good. Thank you. So let's look at practical strategies for prioritizing your tasks. All of these are various ways of how you can prioritize tasks in a day. Can anybody tell me what all of these strategies would have in common?
I guess like reevaluating the issues or what's bothering you at the moment.
Yeah, it may do some of that, yeah. Anybody else?
Be less stressful, help you to like not stress about what you need to get done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about how the strategies are used? How they are used? Do they have something in common as far as how they work, how they are used?
I would say it requires planning and prioritization within that planning.
Correct. Yeah. And so each one of these strategies has a ranking system of some type or a way to categorize the systems of some type. The tasks rather for your day, for your week, for your month, whatever that time frame is. I'm not going to get into all of them. I might point out a couple, two or three, but you'll choose which one works the best for you. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have heard of the 135, where you create a big task or you assign it by complexity. So you got the big tasks, the medium tasks, and the small tasks. Big tasks will be your number one task you want to get completed. 3 would be your medium, and 5 would be your small task. This particular strategy helps with avoiding overloading your day, and it forces you to truly prioritize what is going to happen with that day. I think the ABC method is a really old method from the Franklin Covey days. You guys might not even remember those big thick planners. They were cute now. They were nice, and they had all kind of tabs and sections you could put in them. Had a little strap you could put it on your shoulder. You were smart going into work back then. But same concept. A must do or critical. B, should do, helpful but not urgent. And C, nice to do. It's an optional task you can do, or that task can wait. Obviously, your A task would come first, then B, and then C, and they should get probably easier in that order. Any questions about any of the tasks that I'm not covering? Anybody want to actually hear something about the others? Okay. At the end of it all, you want to do a weekly review and reset. Usually on a Sunday, maybe on a Friday, just depending on what that day, what your how your work week looks. Some people work weekends, so you'd have to just what is your end of week where you can say I started my daily tasks on this date, I end my daily task on this day. So having a reset day just to take a moment, 15, 20, 30 minutes to look at what tasks got completed, what tasks did not get completed, where are you on that deadline for them, what tasks were even added, so you're tracking those added tasks that will come into place. But it also helps you to kind of see the successes. Some people do that daily. I do a little bit of it daily. I'll go through and just kind of cross off some things, but I'm not reevaluating my list necessarily at that point. So weekly review and reset helps you to close out that 1 week and move on into the next week. So instead of carrying it every week by week by week like I used to do, I close out that week, begin my list anew, even if I'm carrying over some items from my previous week.
You have a
Oh.
question in the chat.
I have-
Jane Stanley asked, how would the 2 minutes, I guess the 2-minute rule work?
Okay. So the 2-minute rule is where you want to contemplate if you can get a task completed in 2 minutes or less. And if that's the case, do it now instead of procrastinating, right? Sometimes people will be like, oh, that won't take me but a couple minutes. Those couple minutes, you put about 15 over there in those couple minutes. Now you got a whole 30 minutes when you could have taken a couple minutes and got it done. So the 2-minute rule is just simply for small tasks. Go ahead and knock those small tasks out that you can do within a couple minutes or so. So that's off the list. It gives you clearer, it helps to clear your mental clutter. It also keeps your actual to-do list focused on those priority tasks that will take more time.
So
Good.
those would be like responding to a text message or an email real quickly. Those types of things that will relieve the pressure of I got something else to do on my plate instead of having 10 things. Now you've dropped that down to 4 things because you finished all those 6 2-minute things that could have been done.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay.
So 6 are
That
gone.
makes sense.
And they'll only leave you the lesser amount. Good. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to talk about time management tools. If you guys want to come off of mute or put in the chat, what kind of time management tools are you currently using? I'll start. For example, I use my Outlook calendar and my task list in Outlook. I assign a nice little categories. I assign a nice little reminders. I don't follow them always. I'm working on that. But no, seriously. And then I also use OneNote and or GoodNotes to kind of keep notes beside those things that I'm working on so that if there are some additional things I have to go and do from them, I have a place to track that as well. Who else wants to talk about theirs?
Some being placed in the chat. Some use the Pomodoro method, the iCloud calendar, Notion. We had a Notion last night too, some Notions last night.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put a planner in there, share with us what the name of the planner you use.
I wanted to talk a little bit about my time management. Could I do that?
Yes, we love that involvement. I was going to ask you actually to do that for me, so go ahead.
Oh, wow, we reading each other mind. Okay, so my name is Renaya Edwards, a rising junior political science major, dance minor. And so as you can see, I have a lot of interest. And in those interests, I have categories. So what I try to do is I categorize what I need to do. And so for me, I'm always applying to scholarships. So I have a running scholarship list that's always going. And then I have programs that I might be interested in. And when they have due dates, then I try to do all of those. And so what I try to do is I try to set aside productive days out of each week that might concern doing 5 applications that day. So I'm not trying to spread them out throughout the week, but of course that does come with being proactive. Anytime that I get a schedule for a new program or for even just an organization that I'm a part of, it automatically goes into my calendar, goes into my Apple Calendar. Then I also accept my calendar invites on my Outlook. So I'm constantly using my Apple Calendar and my Outlook calendar. But just categorizing, spacing it out, and then as far as prioritization, I just look to my core values to prioritize. So me is always going to be my priority. So if I'm feeling stressed out, if I'm feeling like this is what's going on, then I need to regulate myself first. I focus on me. And then I attack everything else in that order. I still have to communicate with my family, but then sometimes I have other things that have other things to do. So it's just really high intensity task and low intensity task and what's proactive, but of course you can't plan for everything and just leaving space to flex it just a little bit to adapt to everyday's challenges.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, yes, I love it. Anyone else want to share something that's worked for them?
I like Jasmine's comment. Jasmine, would you comment on what you put in the chat?
Yes. So I always struggled with managing my time and knowing how to pace myself when it comes to time. So my best example is right now I have an internship with the on campus, and I live in Houston, so it's like more than a 40-minute drive, and sometimes with traffic it can go up to an hour. So even though I could wake up a little later than I usually do, I still decide to wake up an hour, maybe an hour and 30 earlier. So even though I'm bouncing around everywhere, um if I'm taking all that time, I still have an adequate amount of time to go about my way and get to school on time.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Jasmine. I appreciate that. Okay. Um, and I wanted to, the reason I said I was thinking of Miss Edwards, Renaya, is because Renaya actually is one of the students that I worked with. And I would send her, oh, I love this, send it to Renaya, send it to Renaya, because I knew that she had an interest in, pursuing as many things as possible. For example, I hope you don't mind me sharing. For example, Renaya was part of the inaugural cohort for the Public Policy Scholars Program. which is a program offered through TAMU that sends students to DC to work in some type of political office of some type, have some type of political work, and they also get to attend at the Bush School of Public Policy there in DC. Well, Renaya was in DC for this internship. She went to a conference in California somewhere. I think you went to New York, and then she went to about 3, 4, 5 conferences all in that spring semester while maintaining her while maintaining this internship and going to classes, going to school. So it took a lot for her to make sure she was where she needed to be. Matter of fact, I told her, I'm gonna need you to slow down because she's doing about 2 or 3 things this summer as well. So what I want to offer you guys is you're able to do multiple things, but making sure you're taking the time to actually plan that day, plan for that 86,400 seconds, and building in intentional time for stepping away when you need to step away and put yourself, in an off mode, if you will. But these are some of the digital app platforms. Some people mentioned Notion. I didn't hear anybody mention Google Calendar. I didn't really put Outlook or Apple Calendar on there, but those are along that same line, some type of app with a phone or what am I trying to say? Some kind of app that associated obviously with the type of phone you have. But we do still have people that like the paper method. So having an actual hard copy planner or agenda, using time blocking sheets is also another non-digital way. Some people like to do a hybrid of the two. Yes, I'm going to have it here, but I want to see it in writing. So whatever works for you, just adopt a way and begin building a habit of thinking about what am I going to do today, not going into work and it's like, okay, trying to have it all up here. Sometimes when too much stuff gets up there, then what you need to come out in productive effort doesn't happen because it's, you're ping-ponging and going from place to place and thing to thing. Questions? Comments? Alrighty, it is that time. We're gonna break out. We're gonna break out. Yeah. So we're gonna do a little challenge, the time crunch challenge. So I want you to imagine you're working 15 hours a week, you're taking 4 classes, and you just saw a post about your dream internship with an application due in the next 5 days. So I want you to break out into various rooms that Ms. George is going to direct you guys into in just a few minutes. You want to talk about what do you do first, and then how do you get it all done in the time you have allotted. So come back to me in about 5 minutes with a plan on how to complete all of these tasks within the time period you have, which is 5 days.
One of the things I think, Ms. Jones, you wanted to have them do is also provide a speaker for that group. So every group needs a speaker. So someone in the group should come back and be ready to report out within 45 to 60 seconds what you guys decided upon in your group. And so we'll look for Ms. Lynn to separate us out, and then they'll get to come back in 5 minutes.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that. That bought me some time. All right, the rooms are ready. I am opening them up now. You will have 5 minutes. At the 1 minute mark, I will send you a message letting you know of that 1 minute. All right, opening the rooms now. When I click open, you will see a dialog box to invite you into the breakout room. Please click that to join.
I got kicked out because of my work. I don't think I'm assigned to a room. Send that to me, please.
I'm sorry, say that again, hon.
My connection is kind of spotty, so it kicked me out when you were explaining what we're supposed to do in the rooms. And I also don't have an invite, probably because I wasn't here when you were making the groups. So do you mind re-explaining what we're doing in the breakout rooms?
Okay. So the prompt is in the chat. So the prompt is you're talking about what do you do first and how do you get it all done in the scenario of working 15 hours a week and taking 4 classes, right? And you just saw a post about your dream internship and it's due in 5 days. What do you do and how do you get it all done? So Brittany, let me just find your name. Brittany, you are in room. Oh, never mind. I'll assign you to a room. I'll put you in room 1. And you should see a dialog box now.
I wasn't able to join either. Oh, here we go.
There you go. Jamia, are you there? It says you haven't joined. You're in room 2. And Jamia, if you can hear me, if you don't mind coming off mute. Manaya, are you there? They're assigned rooms. They're not joining them.
Mhm.
Manaya, Manaya is in room 10. Who else is in here? Nina, can you hear me? Shekinah, can you hear me?
I think Jemiah came off of mute. Are you able to get into your breakout room? Let's see. JT says he can't join. Shekinah says she can hear. She just joined the Zoom.
Okay. So I'll bring them, I'll send them at 34. I will send a 1-minute message. Oh no, I forgot I put a timer on here. Can you see the timer, Michelle?
Yes.
So,
Not sure. So it looks like 10. Okay, 10 is okay. Nina, Manaya, Nina, and Shekinah all came out of the.
they didn't join.
Huh? Yes.
Jamia?
What's they calling my name?
Jamia, we're calling your name. Are you here with us? All right. All right, the rooms are closing in 40 seconds. All right, they're coming back.
Okay. Welcome back, all. You come back and mute.
Our time just gave out on us in group 3. But they were all talking and doing a great job. So
Yeah, I was done.
okay.
It was perfect.
Okay. So I think we have how many groups, Coach George? 11 or 11?
Let me see.
Yes, 11.
Okay. Let me get the spokesperson from group 11. Tell me what you guys came up with in 60 seconds or less.
I don't have our group number, but there was 5 of us in our group, and we talked about how a lot of the people in my group were already prepared. Like we have a general folder of our application, so we might have a general letter of rec, we might have a general personal statement, all of these things that we already have that would probably put us in a position to be able to submit that application faster. And the only reason we talked about submitting the application first is because sometimes, especially these dream internships, although it might be a 5-day window, they might close the application at 100 applicants, which can happen really fast. So it might be there tomorrow, yesterday, but it probably won't be there tomorrow. But somebody said that they actually would do their schoolwork first in our group, which was valid because she said she goes to school to go to school. She pays to go to school. So that's the first priority for her. A lot of people in my group were also talking about how we do our homework ahead. I, for one, do my homework a week ahead, just off the syllabus. So we typically wouldn't be in that position. And then also working 15 hours a week, you already kind of have a set schedule. So if you do, you know how to work around those hours. And so we will kind of work it back, I would say, as a collective: internship, work, of course, no, school, of course, and then work. And kind of a blend between internship and school.
Good, thank you. That was group 1. Let's hear from group 2.
That is Donovan Thomas, James Stanley, Jamia, and JT.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can,
Yes.
Donovan.
Yes,
Thank
we didn't I don't think all of us spoke, but from what I said, it was really just relaying communication. Like, to get it all done, you have
So
to
how
you have
is
to
it
be able
you
to
gonna
manage.
find this out?
Oh, okay. But back to what I was saying, like communication, you gotta have that type of balance. Like, if you know you can't handle something, you have to be able to communicate that, whether that's to your professor or your boss. Like, communication is really key, and that'll allow you to have that time management you really need in these situations. And in order to, get that internship filled out, that this information has to be relayed to them as well. So that
Good.
was just my quick spill on that.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Donovan. Good job.
Thanks.
Number 3, group number 3.
That's Aaliyah, Deja, Dr. Fegans, Kaylin, and Lourdes.
Oh, wait, did you say group 3?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think I was in group 6.
Deja, shows that you were in group 3. Did I move you?
You were
I'm
in
not
group
sure.
3.
It was 3.
It was?
I think I was in group 3.
Yes.
Oh, it was 2.
Oh, it's a different, yeah, okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's 2
Sorry.
Dejas in here. I'm so sorry. So
Okay.
Deja B was in group 3.
Who's the spokesperson from group 3?
They were all talking, so they really didn't get a chance to select who would be the spokesperson, but anyone is welcome to speak from group.
Jump in. Whoever opens up the mic first and starts. Let's show those leadership skills.
Let's do it.
Well, I will speak. I had got in a little bit late, but I did listen to some things that some of the girls were saying. And it was pretty much understood that like we would take the week and break it down into digestible bites. There was somebody who suggested to like pretty much tackle her schoolwork first and then work towards the internship towards the end of the week. And then there was another who suggested to do it early just in case she would have had any work that possibly would have been too much, like a test or something, just tackling it with the easy things first. And I also suggested to like pretty much tackle it in the beginning of the week. My reason was for the same reason, as far as like just in case I would have had a test or anything big towards the end of the week. And just because if it would be my dream internship, I would want to put all my energy towards that. I would prioritize it first more than my schoolwork, even though I would still try to complete it.
All right, good job. Thank you, group 3. Group 4.
Hello. So I'm the spokesperson for Group 4, and my group was basically discussing how we would look at our planner and look at our schedule as to when our classes and work was going on, and whenever we'd have free time, we would work on the application. Also, during our classes, if we have already completed the in-class assignments or the homework for that class, we would take that allotted class time and also fill out the application and make sure that if maybe our teacher was a teacher that could help out with maybe writing portions of the application, then we would ask them just to review the application and see if it looked good and if it sounded good, and just make sure that we were putting our best application forward since this is our dream internship.
Good job. Thank you for that, Raina. All right, group 5, I believe we're at.
Hello. So me and the other person in our group, we were basically discussing how we would be submitting our application towards the end of the week, just because we want to make sure we're focused on, well, me mentally, like with school and work, I do tend to miss a lot of things. It becomes a little overwhelming for me at times. And I do have a little procrastination that I'm still working on. But when I do see an application that I want to apply for, at least skimming through it, trying to figure out like the job description, if I need to adjust my resume, or if there's a cover letter, things like that, additional things that they would need, making sure I have those set off to the side and saved. That way, when it does come to submit, it's all organized and it looks as good as I want it to be, especially with this being like an internship I really want. And then also just prioritizing my assignments, getting those in as early as possible.
Good, good. Group 7. No, 6.
Yeah, group 6. I was speaking for group 6.
Okay.
So me and the group had decided that we would take care of our school work first before we submit our application, as well as be better in time management by submitting our schoolwork first, because we're also working 15 hours a week. So in between our last class and the time that we have to get to work, we will use that time to complete our application for our internship. So that's
Okay.
what we came up with.
Good. Thank you for that, Kennedy. All righty, group 7.
Hi, I'm speaking for group 7. It was Matthew and Audrey in our group and Miss Cassandra. But our first thing was just to plan, smallest things first. Also the things that are due that are most important. So smallest things first and doing things that are most important. So we have to prioritize and then execute the plan as far as time management and making sure that things are getting crossed off your list. Uh, in an importance. So, and also focusing, because if we have a task that's due on Friday, we still need to plan and execute that particular task as well. So just, and if you're working 15 hours, if you know what your hour shifts are, then you can work around that and plan any activities that are needed during your waking moments. So
Good.
that's what we
Awesome.
discussed.
Thank you for that. And group 7.
That was group 7.
That
I'm
was
sorry.
group 8. Alexis, Gavin, Qua, or Nathan?
I'll speak for group 8. Our group decided to prioritize the task. Is the first important thing is the school work, and then work, and then the internship. So basically, for school work, we have 4 classes, 2 hours a day, and then I give you another 2 hours for doing school work. We had 15 hours, let's say 3 hours a day, so that's 9 hours. So plus 8 hours for sleeping. You still got 7 hours to do driving, and then focusing on do like 1 hour per day to looking for transcript and looking for the internship description and start working on it. And by the end of the day, if you really want to do it, you will make time for it.
Awesome. Great job. All right, group 9, I believe. Thanks, Kwa.
Thank you.
Group 9, Jaden, Jasmine, Julian, or Makia. Please forgive me if I mispronounce your name. And feel free to correct me.
Hi, my name is Jaden. So for our group, we first said that we would just start off by planning everything and breaking it apart into chunks. So making sure that it's like manageable. So like maybe like this one assignment and then the submitting or adding, uploading the letters of recommendations, just doing different chunks throughout the week so that you're not like rushing into one thing or like if you do procrastinate, like you're trying to hurry up and get it turned in. So that was our main thing, just separating it.
All right, great. Thank you for that, Jaden. I think I'm on group 10.
There's no one in group 10, but group 11.
Okay, group 11.
Hello. Is this okay? Never mind. Um, so for group 11, we kind of came up with the plan of like, let's just say like we have like 8 a.m.s. So since we have 4 classes, it'll be like 2 classes each day, like Monday, Wednesday, 2 classes, Thursday, Tuesday, Friday, the other 2 classes. So then we'd be done around, let's just like 11. And then with working 15 hours, we could just work 3 hours a day, finishing at around 3 o'clock, like to give time to like get there, eat food, things of that nature. And then using like the rest of that time, like including 8 hours for sleep, I would we would like cut the time in half. So like from 3 till let's just say we go to bed at 10, you would cut those 7 hours into 3.5 for each thing. To make sure that it all gets done by the end of the week.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Jaden. Sounds great. Nope, that was Jackson. Sorry. Thank you for that. All
Thank you very
right.
much.
I would thank I want to thank all of you guys for participating, taking that plunge, speaking out. These are things, again, all of the things that we do in our sessions are intended to continue to help you grow professionally, so that you are in that career readiness mode. We want you to be ready, not have to get ready, or stay ready, not have to get ready. The answers pretty much all had the same theme, breaking it down into smaller tasks and then figuring out how to assign those tasks across the days, the hours you have each day to work on them. Some of the key points, or I guess if I say best practices, is being ahead of the game. So assignments, when you're able to work ahead on your assignments, that always allows for those last minute things that will crop up. So having that as a part of what you practice is having that preparation in advance. I had a student that I worked with at one point, and the student had an exam that was shown to be on a Tuesday, and that student felt that they would have the weekend to prepare. Had some issues, had some medical issues, challenges. Got to class on Monday. Guess what? The teacher moved the test to that Monday, and they did not do well. So planning ahead, don't wait until, give yourself some cushion for those things that could happen at the last minute. So that is kind of a best practice, if I would say. But at the end of the day, breaking it down into tasks. And then when you're working on those tasks, I think early on, I can't remember who mentioned the Pomodoro technique, but early on, when we talked about strategies, using the Pomodoro technique, what that allows you to do is work, focus intentionally, and then move away from it, step away from it for a few minutes, so that you can clear your mind, get some refreshed energy, move around, get some oxygen flowing in your brain, and then come back to it. And so working in that 25 focus work, 5-minute break until done. Once you're done, maybe taking 15, 20, 30 minutes before you start into that next task. This allows you to stay kind of refreshed. This allows you to remove all of the extra noise in your head from working on that task so intentionally, and allows you to not burn out, not to get overwhelmed in a lot of instances. Comments or questions? Okay, so the last thing is, what are some common mistakes or myths we have about time management? This is a big one. Believing that being busy equals being productive. Not even. Being busy is just that, being busy. You're not doing anything to give you any value add or any or return on the time you're investing. So again, be intentional about where you're putting your time and your attention to. And I'm not saying that sometimes you won't just do some busy work for whatever that reason is. Some people like to do busy work to relax. I'm not that person, but some maybe do that. But also making sure it doesn't become a fall safe or a go-to because you just don't want to do what you need to do, like procrastinating. So you do this busy work to kind of fool yourself into thinking you're actually doing something. Thinking that you need to fill every hour to be successful. Not even. You do not have to fill every hour to be successful. You have those items on your list that you want to complete. You have a expected timeline that they should be completed. If you get that done early, you've done a great job. Do you look into maybe moving some tasks over? Possibly. Or just take that extra time and let go and woosah and enjoy those moments. And then lastly, multitasking is more efficient. Big, because multitasking really just has a whole lot of stuff going on in your head at the same time, fighting for space, fighting for focus. Back in the day, my day, of course, that was a big thing. Like, ooh, multitasking is on her resume. She's awesome. But now that I'm a little older, it's an issue, trying to stay focused on that one thing because I'm so used to doing multiple things at the same time. And so I'll start 5 different things and then I'll have to pull back and be like, oh, okay, let me take this one and finish it. And, because I'm so used to doing multiple things at the same time. Also, medically, now they're saying that multitasking is a little bit overwhelming to the brain, and there's several different medical ailments or illnesses that sometimes come from that, like dementia, cognitive issues, memory issues, such and so forth. Anybody else have any kind of common mistakes or myths they've heard of or think? These are about the only ones that I can think of. All right, so as far as accountability, late starts and missteps send the wrong message. You want to show up on time, you want to stay on task, and you want to let your grind do the talking. That's about it. Accountability is all about how do you show up. Do you show up to work on time? And on time is not walking in the door for your 8 o'clock start time, going to the restroom, getting some coffee, putting your purse away or putting your things away, sitting at your desk, booting up. No. Showing up on time and ready to work is when it says 8 o'clock is my start time, I'm already typing. I'm already answering phone calls, right? I used to work in it wasn't a call center per se, but I worked in a department where our phone lines were down and they came up at the time that our day started, and so getting there at 8 o'clock was going to mean somebody's call was going to be missed. Also, make sure you take responsibility for your actions or lack of actions. We learned last week in mastering the basics of communication, mastering communications, that it's important to make sure you are, if you've got information you need from somebody, requesting that information in a timely manner, responding in a timely manner to requests. But just because you need to get information from somewhere else does not mean that you sit back and say, well, I asked John for the information, he never sent it to me. Because at the end of the day, if you've got a deadline to meet and John has something you need, then you need to be making sure you're communicating over and above with John, giving enough time so John can respond in a timely fashion. You know, what they say, your emergency, lack of planning in your part doesn't constitute an emergency on my part. Also, documentation beats conversation 100% of the time. So make sure that if you are having a conversation with somebody or a department that you need something from, or it's mentioned in the meeting when you've been given that task, go back, send an email. Hey, in the meeting, Mark said that I needed to get blah, blah, blah from you. Can I get that information by XYZ timeframe so that I can meet the deadline I've been placed, you know, under, that kind of thing. So Ms. Corley said in our first week in the professionalism and presence workshop that your brand is not something you can tell somebody. Your brand is what they see of you, what you show them. So understand that your accountability actions is a part of that. You want to make sure that your work shows who you are, shows your brand. It supports what people come to expect from you, what people can rely on from you, right? So last couple of things, these are some tools. You don't have to get these specific tools, but a timer. We've got those on our newfangled phones now, so don't necessarily have to buy a separate one, but some people like to have a big clock with a timer showing a countdown when they're working on projects. Also, I used to carry around a little bitty notebook where I could write down, jot down quick notes, but now this phone here has got it all on there, so I do more everything digital. But for those who like hard copy things, there you go. These are the references we used for tonight's presentation. All this information will be shared with you at some point in the next couple of weeks in the workbook. And that's all I have for you guys. Any questions? I'm putting up the survey code and the attendance code for you all to see while you think of any questions you may have. Ms. Corley, I think if you want to remind them about the incentives.
Yes. So for attending 7 to 10 sessions, you can receive up to 200, guaranteed a $100 gift, but we're going to have a raffle or something for those who made it through the 7 or 10 sessions. If you made 3 to 6 sessions, you're guaranteed $50 at a minimum. And so we want to make sure you guys attend the sessions and are able to receive the incentives. And the way you receive those incentives is by filling out the check-in as well as the surveys. So please make sure you're doing that. And we'll take any other questions you guys might have. So the survey code is up. So after this session, if you don't mind filling out the survey, we sure would appreciate it. And that also will help us to understand what things we should do in addition to what we're already doing for you guys. So we're willing to take questions. We'll stay here until you guys, all of our questions are answered. Any questions around time management and the things that you guys should be doing in order to make yourselves more effective and efficient at managing your time and your day at work?
Excuse me. My name is Jackson Abernathy, and I just wanted to ask, like, for y'all personally, like, has there been like any tools like Google Calendar or like things of that nature that y'all have personally used to help keep y'all on task and like prepared with all the things of daily life?
So for me, I use my calendar, I use the timer and scheduling things out, but I also use my notes to keep track of things that I need to get done. So I'll put all my different things that I need to, and then I can check them off, because then in your notes on your phone, it allows you to check off things as you get them completed. So if you put those things in there and you have times, but I also use my calendar to schedule out things that I need to get done. So I'll put 2 hours to work on a particular topic. I'll put those things on there as well, but I also put timers. So if I need to make a call at 10 o'clock, I'll put a timer so that at 10 o'clock, I remember to make that call. So using all the tools, your phone is a tool. We use it for play. We use it to watch movies and all the other things we do, but also use it as a tool. Those are tools that you can use: your calendar, your notes, as well as your clock, which has a timer and allows you to set schedules for yourself. So use your tools to your advantage. That's what I would say.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. So many different things now that you can do with this one little device versus what we had to do on paper. And then you got to carry a big calendar or planner around with you everywhere you go to make sure you're on schedule. So take advantage of everything there. On both Android and iPhone, there is not necessarily an app you have to buy because there are some built-in apps that help you to track your day. You just have to be intentional about taking the time to put it on your calendar. Um, I will say in a minute, don't trust me saying here, watch me put it on my calendar so that I know I've got you scheduled. Or I have that time blocked out. If I get a task, okay, hold on, let me put that on my calendar, block that time out. So, anyone else?
I would say for me, I use a physical planner. I like Be Rooted planners. They have planners and journals. So I use that as well as my phone. But I love planners. Even before like the calendars was added to the phone like years and years ago when I was kind of like you guys' age, it wasn't really phones. Well, phones were out, but they didn't have all those features. I would love going to Office Depot, like at the end of the year, so I can get my new calendar, my planner. I mean, I would just stay in that aisle for hours, just searching for the right one. That's how much I love planners. But yes, I use those two different tools, and it really keeps me intact. I have to, so it's easy to use.
Oh, personally, I'm very similar to Dr. Figgins. I love planners. Actually, behind me, you can't see, but behind me, I have like a little cubby with a whole bunch of planners from years ago. I still keep them, some filled all the way, some, or not, and sometimes I pull it out. I actually like the physical planner as well as my calendar. I own a business, and so to keep everything organized, I also, in addition to having a full-time job, I like to use. I discovered recently that iCalendar can keep all of your calendars. So I use, my phone, my digital, calendar, as well as a physical planner.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that question, Jackson.
Yep.
Hopefully we can help you out some. Okay.
We have another question.
Okay.
I think Patrice had her hand up.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Go ahead, Patrice.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Patrice Gaddison. I guess my question is, for today's seminar, we talked about managing the mission and time management. So my thing is, we all talked about different and effective ways we can handle our time management, but what will happen when we get to like our burnout, or like we can't go further, or it's like, I know this is my priority. This is something that I know needs to be done. This is something I can do later. But like when you're in that moment, I guess, what are some strategies or steps that you all do to overcome that?
That's a great question. We had a burnout question last night, and I see Kay also put that same question, similar question rather, in the chat. So burnout, it's a lot of different things you need to do from burnout. One of the major things that as I'm coaching students, I want them to do is make time for yourself. Make sure that is given a high priority on the list. As you're growing up, everybody's like, oh yeah, go to college or go to trade school or go get a job, get a career, work. Not a lot of people talk about, make sure on your personal side you give intentional thought to that. That includes where you live. That includes the people in the space where you live. So that you want to go home. That's a place that you can go to rejuvenate, refresh, re-energize, to refocus. It is important to make sure you're giving that attention. Continue to grow in your position, right? So don't continue to do the same thing over and over again. Look at opportunities to move into other areas possibly, or take on additional responsibilities, or even switch responsibilities. Dr. Figgins is heading up an initiative within our department for us to get cross-trained. And so learning how to do other jobs within our department. So sometimes we're able to step away from what we're doing and take on the some tasks in the other departments. there's just being intentional about what you want to do, where you want to go, having that career progression, that career ladder, that career goal, taking advantage of what your company offers from leadership to other areas of training. Again, understanding what the adjacent departments that you work with, what they do. And then again, doing some cross training where you can would be something I would say. Anybody else?
Who actually asked that question?
We got Patrice, Ederson, and Kay in the chat ask about burnout from doing the same routine.
Okay. So the thing I think about from burnout is you want to make sure you're allocating time to do the things you want. So a lot of times the burnout is because you're doing too many things. So you do have to know when to say no and what you can say no to. So sometimes our extracurricular activities are things we can say no to. So, or postpone those things. So make sure you're doing some of those things and you're prioritizing the things that are most important. The things you can't say no to, you want to make sure you're getting those things done. That's your classwork. That's an internship, things of that nature. Those aren't things you have as optionals. So make sure you're allowing yourself time to do those things by prioritizing those, but also making sure you're not saying yes to things you don't have to do. Okay, so something with your organization, you might be able to say, no, I can't do that. So somebody else who has more time can do those things. So that's one of the things I would tell you guys.
Yeah.
I would comment and say, sometimes we can be an overcommitter. Guilty, right here. Yeah. So I tend to overcommit. So even like on the team or, other organizations or just family, whoever needs me, I'm like, yes, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. Without even checking my calendar, my planner. And I have all these, tools that I use, right? And so when you overcommit, the burnout will come. And so when the burnout comes, I feel like I'm just, like in the corner, like, no, this is too much. And then my anxiety started kicking in and yada, yada, yada. So what I have to do, I train myself. I'm like, okay, Danielle, before you give that person an answer, check your calendar. And I know that's crazy, right? Because multitasking, overcommitting, and I want to do it. I have the willingness to do it, but I'm only one person. So I have to take that step back, check my calendar first, and then let the person know if I am able to do it. It may not be at that particular time, but try to work with them. Or if I'm just unable to do it, just being able to say no and just being okay with saying no. But when you tend to get burnt out, like Ms. Jones said, like Ms. Courtney said, you got to know when to take that break. Listen to your body. That is so, so important. We are living in a world where everything is changing and we're so busy, busy, busy. Please listen to your body. Know when to take that break. Like I was sharing yesterday, when you get to the point where you can't take it anymore, as far as burnout, rest. If that means a day of doing nothing, don't do anything. If that means you want to watch Netflix all day, your reality shows on Bravo, do that. Or just whatever makes you, happy and relaxed and calm, do that. It's okay. Take a moment to do that. Just spend a day of not doing anything. It's okay, and don't feel guilty about it. But know when to take that break, know when to rest.
Definitely. So to kind of give you a checklist of it, know how to say no and when to say no, know what those boundaries need to be, do not overcommit, and take intentional, crafted time for yourself. Those are important because your body will tell you and will shut down on you. Been there, done that. When you have done too much, it will do that.
Thank you so much, career coaches.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? We have reached the 8 o'clock hour. I appreciate those of you who are still hanging in there. We will stay around until everyone's gone and there are no more questions. So at any point, you guys can check out. Have a wonderful Juneteenth weekend. And we will see you next Monday with workplace etiquette and
workplace decorum.
Workplace
And workplace etiquette. So we'll be talking along those lines.
Great topic. Okay, we'll have all 3 sessions next week. Thank you
We
guys.
thank you guys.
Are amazing.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
night.
Thank you
you.
guys. Make sure you fill
Bye.
out the survey, and if you didn't check in, that you checked in. But fill out the survey as well. Have a great evening.
Yes, man. Bye bye.